Hindu Analysis editorial by Rathod IAS.
Thank you, Rathod IAS.
Really took help of the Hindu analysis to enrich my content.
Hindu analysis articles.
Rathod IAS.
Hindu Analysis.
Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 15th June 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So here I am taking Delhi edition. So whichever edition you are having, so you can go to that edition. No problem with selection of other editions. Okay, don't be panic. So this is the front page of our newspaper today. So in the front page, we have two articles which are relevant from our examination point of view. So first article, it is India's poll results, victory for democratic world, says our Prime Minister. So here we are not talking about which political party and everything. So here we are going to focus on only one thing. This is about our G7 summit. Okay, G7 summit. So I will let you know some dimensions that you have to see from this G7 summit point of view. So first of all, this article is talking about G7. Okay, so this G7, which comes under organizations or groupings, which is your part of international relations from GS paper 2. So here you have to know, first one is basic facts regarding this GS7. So which are the countries part of it, like which is that grouping is about, what are the organization's aims and objectives, so why they formed. So you have to know some basic facts. So apart from that, you have to see this is 2024, right? So this is 2024 G7 summit. So what are the aims? So why they are going to have meet this year, and what are the objectives of this year meeting, and what are the important areas, or we can call it as agenda of that 2024 G7 summit. And you have to know about what are the challenges which is faced by this G7. And actually this G7, as I said in our earlier classes, it is a grouping of developed countries. So how this G7 will be addressing issues of developing countries. So why I am talking especially about this developing, because India is also an example of developing country, and India got this year invitation to attend this G7 summit. So our Prime Minister, he is on Italy, right? So here how this G7 will going to address this issues of developing countries will be the matter that you have to know. Clear? So all these are the relevant dimensions that you have to see from this article point of view. Clear? Okay. Now let us see some facts. Already we discussed about what is this G7, so which are the countries part of. So if you're adding Russia to this G7, that will become G8, and if you're adding other 12 more countries, it will form G20. So that thing I clearly shown in recent class. So now let us see why it is in news. So here in this meet, our Prime Minister, he attended. Okay, he went to Italy, he is on Italy, and now he interacts with the leaders of UK, France, Germany, Japan and Italy in this G7 summit, and here also meets briefly here US President and even Pope, and he shakes hand with even Canada Prime Minister. So whenever he is going somewhere, so he will be getting some welcome wishes. So that is the thing which mainly said in this, why it is in news. So now we are going to focus on what is the agenda of this year, that is agenda of 2024 of this G7 summit. So in earlier class I gave you brief introduction. So one of the important agenda of this G7 summit this year is rule-based international order. But if you see in international or like world-wise, so in many countries there is instability. For example, Russia-Ukraine crisis, for example, Israel-Palestine issue, and even many countries they are sharing border, so they are having some conflicts. For example, South China Sea, China issue, etc. Right? So if we are having this type of issues, means we can't say we are following this rule-based international order. So if there is something which is the issue, or if there is any challenges for this rules-based international order, then only we will be getting this type of issues. So here the first and the foremost agenda of this year G7 summit is to address this rules-based international system, because Russia is attacking Ukraine, Israel is attacking this Palestine, right? And next one is to address this Middle East conflict. So Middle East conflict is nothing but Israel-Gaza issue. And next one is here they want to strengthen partnership with developing countries. So because of this agenda here, India got personal invitation, or else India might not be getting this personal invitation. So they want to develop partnership with developing countries. And even you know that there is increasing of relevance of Indo-Pacific region. So India is particularly sharing boundary with Indian Ocean. So because of this, these European countries and developed countries, they want to improve relationship with India so that they can have access to this Indo-Pacific region. So that is one important thing that we can add here, like how we are going to develop relations or improve strategic relations with this developing country like India. And this one is, if you see some key priorities of this 2024 summit, they are focusing on issues of migration. So many a times you can see the issues of migration, and whenever people who are migrating from one country to another country, they will be facing lots and lots of problems. So because of migration in India, we have this CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, clear? And next one is, we have a common challenge, that is climate change. So all these countries need to come together and they have to address this issue, or else we can't address this climate change issue. And next one is food security. Because of climate change, there is decreasing of agriculture production, or food production is decreasing day by day. So we have to address this problem. So if you're not addressing this climate change and food production problem, so everyone will be fighting with hunger, starvation, malnutrition, and some more health related problems, right? And next one is, they are also focusing on artificial intelligence. So all these are very important agenda of this 2024 G7 summit. And next one is, they are also having some more aims to improve economic policies, and we have to stabilize our global economy, because not only in India, so you're reading about this inflation topic in your economic classes. So there is inflation in India. Yes, even today's newspaper also there is one article which is talking about WPI and CFPI, right? So not only India but even entire world is facing this inflation problem. So one important reason we can connect is COVID-19 pandemic, right? And even there are many times trade related tensions. So even regarding trade, one more article in today's newspaper, exports are increased but there is trade deficit, correct? So here these countries are also going to take steps regarding economic policies to address this inflation and as well as to reduce this trade related tensions between countries. And next one is, this summit will focus on addressing climate change, but how? So first and the foremost thing is, they are going to reduce this carbon dioxide emissions. So whenever there is reducing of carbon dioxide emissions, that will lead to reducing of global warming. So whenever there is reducing of global warming, what happens? Whenever there is reducing of global warming, we can reduce global temperature, and again we can address this problem of climate change. Are you connecting the dots? And next one is, they are also focusing on promoting sustainable energy sources. So always we have to focus on sustainable energy. Sustainable means that will be coming for the long run, right? And next important thing here is COVID-19 pandemic. So because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we learned about what are the loopholes in our healthcare system. So if this COVID-19 would not have happened means, so still our healthcare system would be run like past. Okay, so because of this COVID-19, now there were an expansion of hospitals with increased number of beds, increased ventilator supports, and increased oxygen cylinders maintenance in the hospitals, right? So here, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, whatever the lessons we have learned, like what are the loopholes we have, and we are going to further improve our health initiatives. They are not at the Indian level but even at the global level. And now we are also focusing on pandemic preparedness, okay, pandemic preparedness, and as well as vaccine distribution. And because of this COVID-19 pandemic, within a very less time, so we developed lots and lots of vaccines and we exported them to other countries, right? So in the same way, now we are trying to come up with a vaccine so that we can prevent certain diseases. So in that phase only we developed this Servovac, that is a vaccine to prevent cervical cancer in women. Okay, so we got that all from the lessons that we learned from this COVID-19. So there is a further more scope to do something with those things that are going to be discussed. And next one is we are also focusing on regulation of emerging technologies and as well as data privacy, cyber security. So overall it will be benefiting the global development of the globe itself. Okay, globe is nothing but all the countries in the world. Clear? So these are the important agenda on which they are going to focus in this ongoing G7 summit. Clear, students? Yes, now let us see what this G7 leaders they are going to do about how to end war in Ukraine and as well as Gaza. So this is the first thing, right? So I said about they will be discussing about how to maintain this rule-based international order. So what are the two issues we have in front, which is Russia-Ukraine crisis. Next one is Gaza-Israel issue. So how this G7, which is developed countries, they are going to take some steps. So it will be interesting, right? We have to know that. So first one is these G7 countries, they already imposed sanctions on Russia. Okay, so already the steps had been taken by this G7 countries, that is developed countries on this Russia, like sanctions ever imposed on large economy. So since in the history onwards, that type of sanctions had not been imposed. But for the first time, lots and lots of sanctions had been imposed on Russia by these developed countries. So they blocked Russia from international commerce. So actually there is a payment system called as SWIFT. I am not talking about SWIFT card, it is a SWIFT payment system. For example, you know about PayPal. So like that, it is also one international payment system. For example, India is doing trade with Russia. So the payment will be going through this SWIFT. And even in our website, if you are going for purchasing of any course, we have Pay. Like that, here we also having one international payment system, that is SWIFT system. So from this SWIFT system, so Russia had been removed. So this is a system through which transactions will be going on. But this system had been removed to this axis of Russia. And next one is G7 and European Union nations, they also frozen. Frozen means stopped. Stopped $325 billion of Russian financial assets which were held in their territories. For example, these Russia, which is having assets in these countries, European nation countries and G7 countries, they had been freezed this accounts of Russia in that countries. So it is also economic sanction on Russia. It will be affecting Russian economy. Mainly why? These sanctions to stop war against Ukraine. And this one is G7 countries, they are now working on a scheme to take interest, like whatever the assets they have earned and passed to Ukraine. Like now here these G7 countries are trying to, whatever the assets of Russia are there present in other countries, they are trying to shifting to Ukraine. Okay, and even US, which played a very important role here. So US proposed an immediate ceasefire by Israel and Hamas, and even US said that to release all the hostages and to provide humanitarian aid for this Gaza. Okay, so in this way, these developed countries are also taking some steps to maintain international rules-based order. Clear? And I want to give you one mains question. Critically analyze the relevance of G7 with reference to present geopolitics. Means what can you write? Tell me, Uni. So what can you write here? So geopolitics means the present issues which are going on. For example, Russia, Ukraine and Israel-Gaza issue. So what can you write here? You can write about simply what G7 can do for these issues. So these points you can write. So how many points? These points. 5 to 6 points here. That is your answer. Okay, understood? And now let us move on to our paper. So here there is one more article, that is exports bounced 9%, but trade deficit hit 7-month peak in May. So what are the keywords here? Trade deficit. So what is the meaning of deficit? Deficit means less, right? So in trade, what are the components we have? Imports and exports. Trade means nothing but exports and imports. For example, you might have studied number of stories regarding trader. Once upon a time in a village, the trader moving from one place to another place. Like that, I think you might have heard about this type of stories of traders. Trade means nothing but it includes just imports and exports. So whenever imports are more compared to that of exports, this condition is called as trade deficit. When exports are more compared to that of imports, we are calling it as trade surplus. So now this article says one thing very interesting here, that is, yes, exports had been increased. So whenever there is exports increased, we should have this condition of trade surplus. But it says that there is trade deficit. So despite of increasing of exports, so you are still facing this trade deficit. So here you have to know the reasons why and what will be the measures that you can take to control this type of situation. Clear? Understood? And this topic is important from your where? Economy GS paper 3. So what is the news? So India's goods exports, they increased, grew means increased, growth of 9.1% and imports rose by 7.7. That means exports are more than compared to that of imports. Exports are 9.1 and imports are 7.7, even though we are facing trade deficit. So what is the condition? So why there is trade deficit even though there is increase of exports? So can you tell me some realities, what might happen here? Think and tell me, students. Students, please post your comments in the comment box. So whenever we are exporting cheap goods, but whenever we are importing costly goods. For example, we are exporting 100 rupees ka any item. Okay, shoes. So we are exporting shoes of 100 rupees, 10 shoes for example. So total value is 1000 rupees exports. But here we are importing 10 kgs of gold. So 1 kg gold, how much it cost? So 1 tula, that means 10 grams of gold is 60,000. Okay. 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. So 1 kg itself cost 60 lakhs. Okay. Understood the thing? So if you are importing, for example, 10 kg of gold, it will be around 6 crores. So here you are exporting 1000. So there is trade deficit. Clear? Understood? So this is the thing which is happening. So whatever the exports we are exporting, the products, they are of cheap or low cost compared to that of our imports. So what we are importing more is gold, because of there is high demand of gold in Indian market, especially in South India. And next one is diamonds, and even the crude oil you are getting, that is also costly, right? So because of all these things, even though there is increasing of exports, we are having trade deficit. So what is this trade deficit? Trade deficit is nothing but country's imports are exceeding its exports. Now this is normal condition. So one way here is we have to measure this trade surplus or trade deficit. Because of that only we can understand how our economy is performing in this trade. It is one of the important measure. And if you are talking about what can be done, tell me, if you are an economic advisor, or if you are, who is our economic advisor? Recent current affairs I said. Okay, so if you are RBI governor, who is RBI governor now? Okay. So if you are RBI governor, what will you do? Tell me. How you can decrease the deficit? Think I gave you a very big position to you. Entire country's economy is in your hands now. Tell me, what will you do now? Students, tell me, you are RBI governor, so what steps you will be doing? At least you will be having some idea, right? So tell me. Okay, increasing valuable exports. Okay, very good. Next. Okay, you will be increasing infrastructure. Okay, next. Come on, tell me. I want answer from you, students. You have to start thinking. Come on. Muni. Students, online students, please give me your comments. Any more idea? Yes, production increase. Okay, so that we can increase overall exports. Next. Yes, very good. Yeah, how do you know about this mass of production and mass production? Economics are said, right? Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, actually, we are focusing on mass production, but we are not including mass here. Okay, so we have to include people in this manufacturing sector so that we can produce more. Okay, very good. Next, you're understanding? No, you're giving answers. Then why are you bothering? See, students, how our offline students are giving answers? Yeah, tell me. Come on. Still think. That is the thing that you need. You need to think and you need to evaluate. That's UPSC wants the students. Don't focus on ready-made material. So even though I'm providing, but you have to start think more. Okay, clear? Yes, the first one is we can make more trade agreements so that we can make international markets. So we can get market. So if there is no market, even though if you are producing 1000 units or 1 lakh units, where will you sell? So we need proper international markets, especially to sell. So for that we can have free trade agreements. So in the further classes of economy, you will come across as free trade agreements. Okay. So first one is, you understood, right? So whatever you are producing, we have to sell them. So we need a marketplace. So here we can have some trade agreements with some partners so that we can increase our Indian exports. Clear? And next one is we can improve our exports infrastructure, as you said. So for increasing of production, we have to focus on development of infrastructure, like machinery, like proper roads, proper logistic networks, so proper transportation, everything we need. So we can focus on that, so that automatically we can improve our exports. And this one is import substitution. So actually, rather than importing more, we have to focus on how to export more. Import should be substituted. And next one is we have to rationalize our imports. So whatever is exactly needed, so we have to import that only. For example, I can say if you go to any shopping mall, so have you seen some Instagram reels regarding the shopping of women? Any idea? No? So they say that I want only moisturizer, for that I am going to mall and I will going to purchase. So instead of buying that moisturizer, they will buy everything. Okay, normally if you are taking kids, so they say, Mama, I want chocolate. And if you are taking them to shop, instead of chocolate, they will ask everything. I want that, I want this, I want this. Especially in shopping malls like D-Mart or anything. So why they want to increase the scales, or like the strategy they are following here is, so whatever the kids' requirements, chocolates, dolls, they will present at the lower racks, not at the higher racks. So that children, they can easily pick up them and they will be putting in the basket. Yes or no? Yeah, so this is the thing which happens. So here we have to rationalize our imports. So what is exactly required, that thing we have to import. Okay, rather than unnecessary things. Yes or no? And next one is we have to skill our workforce. So because of lack of skill also, what happens? Lot of accidents. For example, firecracker accidents will be happen because of lack of skill. So if you are having the skill, yes, we can produce more. So whenever you are producing more, you can export more. So in this way, you can improve your exports. Clear? And we have to manage our currency, debt, everything as an RBI manager like you. Okay? Clear? So understood like what are the steps that you can take? So what are the steps you said they are somewhat relevant? You are in a condition to analyze the things? Yes? Okay. So I want to give you one more question, students. Take down the question. Highlight India's current trade deficit status with most of its major trading partners. Discuss its impacts on economy and also suggest measures to bring down this trade deficit. Can you write this answer now at least? So in introduction, you can write about what is this trade deficit. So recently, 10 to 15 days back, I think your batch had not been started. There was one report regarding India is having trade deficit with most of the partners. For example, China, right? So you have to write about that report in introduction. Recently report released that it says most of the partners we are having trade deficit. For example, right, you can write China like that, at least 2 to 3 countries. And you can write about trade deficit, your introduction is done. And next you have to see what is the impact. So what happens if there is trade deficit? You can write 2 to 3 points and next measure 3 to 4 points. 150 words, done. Your answer is done. Understood? Clear, no? Okay. So this is your front page and here there is one article. Title says Delhi LG, Delhi Lieutenant Governor sanctions prosecution of Roy Hussein under UAPA. So here you have to focus on this word UAPA, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So this is very important and many a times you can see this type of acts will be in use. So whenever you are seeing that, you have to know at least basic facts. What is that? Why? What is the relevance? That's it. So only just facts you have to know. So you have to know about UAPA, right? So UAPA, when it came into picture in year 1967, and itself is saying that Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So it is mainly came up to prevent anti-national activities, okay, like terror activities or like mob lynching, etc. So which are the activities that are threat to our national security? Those activities are coming under this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So this act had been amended several times, but the recent it had been amended in 2019. And in this, now we included some provisions after this changing of earlier act. We included this terror financing. That means financing means giving money or giving some support to the terrorist organizations to conduct some anti-national activities against so and so nation. So what is terrorism? So there will be a group of people, they will be attacking other countries' territory or other countries' territorial integrity, sovereignty, etc. So financing of this terrorist organization. So in this financing again we have two types of financing. Directly state will be financing the terror groups. For example, there are many Pakistan terror organizations, they are getting funds from their own Pakistan government to conduct activities against India. And next one is non-state actors. It is not government. Other people, they will be giving funds to this also terror organization. That comes in the non-state actor. And next one is even cyber terrorism. Next, individual designation and seizure of property. Seizure of property means nothing but if we know that so and so organization is like a terrorist organization. So what are the properties, what are the assets they are having? So we will go for seizing of that. Okay. So all these changes that we add in year 2019 and these were not present in this 1967 Act. They had been amended and added in this 2019. Okay. And actually, so this act which empowers, which gives the power to NIA, that is National Investigation Agency, and this National Investigation Agency which will investigate and prosecute the cases under this UAPA across the country. NIA will be taking care of this UAPA, and under this UAPA, so the penalty or this punishment is very hard and harsh, and even death penalty is there, life imprisonment. Okay. And next one here is, so under this act, so charges of trail or trail up to 180 days will be there. And next one is, who will define these unlawful activities? So entirely the permission is given to central government. So now central government, if it wants to say so and so activity as an unlawful activity, it can under this act. Okay, so that's it. You have to remember at least these points regarding this UAPA. Okay, recent amendment, what's added, so what it deals with, so which is the agency taking care of this crimes. Okay, examples of the crimes. And now let us move on to next page. So leave the city page, not at all useful. And even you have to skim through your states page. So there are some articles which are the follow-up of earlier newspaper, like Sikkim. In Sikkim recently landslide had happened and we discussed the topic. So this is the continuation of that. So our 1200 tourists, they had been stranded. Stranded means nothing but stuck. Okay, they went for just tourism, but because of landslides, so they had been stuck in Sikkim. And in this page also it is about Hal's arrest or detention. It is regarding POCSO. We discussed this topic in yesterday's class only. And here there is one important topic. ED arrest contractor in Jal Jeevan mission case in Rajasthan. Okay, and one more act which is given here is PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Okay, so these two things are very important from this article. So here, schemes which becomes an important part in your GS paper 2 under governance. In governance, you will be studying about schemes, policies, acts, laws, right? So whenever seeing any scheme, so here the scheme is JJM, Jal Jeevan Mission. So you have to see all these dimensions. First one is, what is this scheme is about? So it is going to provide water, okay, water through taps, because normally in rural areas they don't have proper water supply. So under this Jal Jeevan Mission, so for every person, individual person, they are going to get water through this functional taps through households. And you have to see here what is the success rate or outcome of this scheme. And next you have to see under which ministry. So which ministry is taking care of this Jal Jeevan Mission and what are the challenges of this mission. Okay, so these are the things that you have to see. And next topic, as I said, it is about prevention of money laundering. So why money laundering will happen? Any idea? Money laundering. So what is this money laundering? Black money into white money. So what is this black money, whether it will be in black color? Illegal money. So how can you say that is illegal money? Illegal money means? Yes. Yes, scams. Okay. So here, whatever the income you are getting, whatever the money you are getting, if you are paying tax, it is legal. If you are not paying tax, then that money is called as black money. And we are using money laundering techniques to make this black money into white money. Okay. So to prevent this money laundering, because if you are not paying tax, it will be lost to government. How lost to government? I gave you one question. So what is tax? What is importance of tax? When? 2 days ago in our strategy classes. So if you have did the research like what is a tax and what is the importance of tax, you will be not having a question like why this money laundering will be happening, right? So if you are not paying tax, the tax is one of the major source for the government for the development. So government is implementing lots and lots of schemes for the development of every area. So if you are not paying tax, from where government will get money to do the schemes or to implement the schemes? No, right? So because of this, tax is very important. It is one of the important source of revenue to the government. Okay, if you are not paying tax on that, if you want to save your money, either if you are getting on the legal way or illegal way, okay, so here it will comes under this black money, and this black money, if they are finding it means, so we have lots and lots of severe punishments will be there, and for that, to avoid that punishment, so normally people who have their black money, they will go for money laundering and they will be converting it into white money. So to prevent this, okay, I understood your question. So one of our students is saying why to pay the tax and why government need to spend on schemes. Okay, you're paying tax. Who will pay tax? Not everyone, right? So in this tax, we have direct tax, we have indirect tax. So direct tax examples, IT, corporate tax, etc. So IT means, for example, I am individual, I am earning, for example, 1 crore rupee per annum. I am not having that income, but I am saying, so I am earning 1 crore rupees per annum. So I have to pay the tax. So based on the income of a person. So now actually person who is earning 5 lakhs or more than 5 lakhs, they have to pay the tax. And based on your income, there will be different slabs, like 5%, 7%, 10%, 15% based on your income. If your income is increasing, and this slab will be increased. Okay, and if you are earning less than this so and so slab amount, you will be not eligible for paying of tax. Okay, and if you see corporate tax means any industry or any factory on the profits they are getting, they have to pay the tax. And India, most of the tax they are collecting, it is from corporate tax. Okay, so I want to address your question. So far is it clear about tax? So actually the people who are having the less income, they will not pay the tax, first one. And government will be coming up with the schemes for the development of poor people, for addressing the issue of hunger. And even if you want to be eligible for any government entitlement, they will ask your income certificate. So your income should be less than 3 lakhs per annum or like 5 lakhs per annum, like that. So why this criteria? To give the benefit only for the people who actually needs it. For example, I am earning like 10 lakhs rupees per annum. Whether I need that so and so entitlement? No? Clear? So here for this, government came up with this creamy layer and non-creamy layer also. So for example, government is providing some schemes for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So in that scheduled tribe, scheduled caste also, all will be not rich, all will be not poor. So for that we have this concept of creamy layer and non-creamy layer based on your income. Now, is it clear, your doubt? Students, clear? Venkat? Muni? Okay, that is the thing. That's it. And if you move on, you can directly go to this editorial page itself. In editorial page, so one article is written by Shashi Tharoor. So his articles will be very interesting. So you can read that. So when you read these editorials, then you can understand how to write an essay, because they are models of essay. This article is important and it is talking about directly federalism. So this topic of federalism is part of your polity under GS paper 2. So now let us see this. So what is the meaning of federalism? As I said, There is a proper division of powers between center and as well as state. So for this, in our constitution we have 7th schedule, which talks about union list, state list and concurrent list. So federalism is a system of government where there is a division of powers clearly between 2 or more levels of government. Normally we will be calling as center and as well as states. Okay, you have to remember this thing for sure. Unitary means central dominance. For example, who is the dominant in your family? Father or mother? Father. Center means father. Like that you can remember. Unitary is your family, father, dominant family. Okay, and federalism means mother and father are equal. Like that, proper sharing of responsibilities between mother and father. So here in this federal system, sharing of power between center and as well as state. So clearly, yeah. Concurrent list, we have, that will be like, okay, I will tell you that one also. Okay, normally in schedule 7, we have 2 types of list, center list, state list and concurrent list. Okay, so what are the subjects which are there in the state central list? So it is the responsibility of central government. Central government only can touch those subjects and central government only can make the laws in that. So here in the state list, what are the subjects are there here? On these subjects only state government can make the laws. Here central government cannot interfere. But in this concurrent list, both central government and as well as state government, they have the power to make the laws. So it is about our schedule 7. So because of this schedule 7, we can say there is division of power between center and as well as state. It is an example that we can write. Okay, but here now this article is saying that yes, now we have new coalition government because Modi government had not get clear majority. So because of this, even this TDP party of AP, which gave something which is favor towards this BJP government, and they formed this coalition government. So now author says that okay, we have now Modi 3.0 government, but in this federal structure of our constitution, we have some challenges. So we have to wait and see how this present government which formed will be taking care of this federalism. So for that you have to know what are the challenges we have, right? So first one is regionalism. So nowadays what happening here is in the states there is rising of regional political parties. So at central level we have other political parties and the state level we have other political parties, right? So in the state level also we have state political parties and other independent parties or small parties will be there. So now the problem is there is rising or increasing of these regional parties. On base of what? On base of caste, on base of language, ethnicity, region, religion, right? So based on this, we are having these regional political parties. So they are posing a challenge for national unity, national integration and integrity of our country as a whole. This is the one thing. And especially in some states they are talking about, they are asking for special category status. So recently which states are there in news for special category status? Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, right? So they are demanding, and even some areas they are asking for separate states also, like Gorkhaland in West Bengal and Bodoland in Assam and Greater Nagalim in Nagaland, right? So if they are asking, they are creating some violence, means it is one of the threat for our federalism, right? And next one is division of powers are also. So whatever the list we are having, like state list, central list and concurrent list, so there is no clear-cut division of powers, division of subjects between these lists also. Okay, and this is the one important thing. And next one is President's rule has been imposed in Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand in 2016 on the grounds of this constitutional breakdown, but later it had been revoked by Supreme Court. Again Supreme Court is interfering here. So in emergency, so Parliament should be interfered, right, for imposition everything, okay, but here Supreme Court is revoking this emergency in this Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. That is called a state emergency or president's rule. So this is also one important issue. And even there is absence of physical federalism. So wherever you get in this physical word, it is nothing but money. Physical is related to money. So there is no proper division of powers between central and states regarding the funds or taxes that to be divided between center and as well as state. Okay, clear? So in tax chapter of economy, you will come across a surcharge and as well as cess. So cess and surcharge is tax on tax which will be collected by central government, but that will be not shared with states at all. So this, in this way here, there is some more unitary characters that we can see in the center. Okay? And many a times states, they will be depending on the grants or the funds which is given by the center. And even recently many states, they are asking for disaster relief fund. For example, state of Tamil Nadu. So after many days, many petitions, many issues, they got recently the fund had been released. Okay, so in this way they do not have financial autonomy for states properly. And even if you see, there is unequal representation of units. For example, if there is a big state, there will be more number of seats of Lok Sabha. If state area is less, it will be having very less seats. For example, UP is a very big state, right? It is having 80 Lok Sabha seats, but Sikkim is having only 1. So whenever this type of thing is there, means that there will be very unequal representation from the states, right? So this is also an important threat to our federalism. And we have to see how our new government, it is going to address these issues. Clear? That is the thing. And next one is you have to understand why we need to strengthen this federalism. So why we need to focus on this now. So first one here is, as you all know, India is famous for unity in diversity. So we have different diverse groups of people, religion, race, caste, everything. So all we are living as brothers, sisters in our country now. So we can't say this kind of unity if you are going to any other country, for example. That is only the thing, that is only the specialty, and we should be very much proud that I born in India. So this is really, so this is the one fantastic thing that we can see in India, that is we are belonging from different areas, but we are having a common brotherhood. That is a fraternity that we have. So here we have to preserve our own diversity, and we have to preserve our own diverse culture, right, pluralism. So in our Indian society, we have to protect our culture, our language, religion, tradition, etc. So for all of these things, so it is the responsibility of central government to address this issues of federalism. And next one is we have to safeguard our own autonomy and as well as our own rights, right? So if people, they are not ensuring that their rights are protected, whether they will sit silent? No, right? If I am treating you as one way, and if I am treating another as another way, so will you sit silently? You will come and you will wage war against me in this class only. You will come directly onto the dais. Yes or no? So in this vast 7th largest country, it is a responsibility of our government to maintain autonomy and to ensure rights of each and every person. So there should be no discrimination based on any ground like gender, caste, race, ethnicity, which region you are belonging to. Clear? So for that, we need to address this issue. And this one is, if you want to improve the quality and efficiency of governance. So governance is nothing but how government is ruling, how government is administering. So this process is called as governance process. So for this proper smoothing of administration, yes, we need this. So if there are issues which are happening in any state, whether we can smoothly run our thing? No. For example, I am coming and I am taking class. So if you are not cooperating, can I take my class? No, right? So cooperation is very much necessary. So the proper cooperation, yes, we need to address this type of issues. So if there are any problems, first I have to address your problems, then only I can continue my class, right? So that is the thing. And next one is we can promote balanced and inclusive development only when there is a proper federalism, right? So when there is a proper welfare of all religion, all sections of society, then only we can ensure this inclusive development and as well as balanced development. And next one is for harmony and cooperation. Obviously, we need to address this problem of federalism. Understood? Clear? And now let us see next topic. It is about thousands of Kashmiri Pandits take part in Kher Bhavani Temple Festival. So here, do you know about this Kumbh Mela? So have you watched any videos of Kumbh Mela on news? So how people will be coming, so how they will be taking bath and what activities they will be doing. So there will be large thousands, lakhs of people, they will be coming for this Kumbh Melas. So this is such a type of gathering which happens in Kashmir. That is the second largest population gathering after this Kumbh Mela, which happens in this Kher Bhavani temple. Okay, so you have to know about this. It is about our culture. So actually, you know that Kashmir is famous for which religion? Hindu. Now we have Muslims, but earlier we used to have Pandits, like they are Hindus. So this is the festival of Hindus who are present in this Kashmir. Okay, so it is very much relevant. So here, if you see some facts, thousands of Kashmiri Pandits converge. So have you watched this movie Kashmir Files? So what it is about? I didn't get that rhyme to watch that movie actually. So that Kashmir Files movie, that will be depicting about how these Pandits were fled from this Kashmir. So what are the atrocities against this Hindus, right? So here after that also, yes, we have significant number of Hindus in Kashmir. And this festival which celebrates about our Hindus in that area. So if you see here, context, it says that thousands of Kashmiri Pandits, they converged at this Kher Bhavani temple in Kashmir Valley. Okay, so actually this is the every year festival. Annual means this festival is celebrated every year on this Jyeshtha Ashtami. So on this day, Ashtami, Navami will be there, no? So on this Ashtami in this Jyeshtha Mas. So the Jyeshtha is month and Ashtami is the day. On this day, so this festival is celebrated. So every year it is one of the auspicious day. The Kashmir Pandits, they make a pilgrimage to one temple, that is Mata Raganya Devi temple. So this temple is also called as this Kher Bhavani temple. And here they will be offering prayers to this deity Kher Bhavani. Okay, that's it. And actually if you go to the history of this festival, so there was rule under this Ranbir Singh 1830 to 1885 time. So this temple was constructed on an island, and there the revered goddess idol and Shivalinga, so they had been established. And actually, so this amalgamation of this Lord Shiva and goddess idol, so it is unique, because in Hindus we can say like wife is the half part of husband, that is Ardhanarishwara. So that is the thing which we are celebrating here. Okay, and it's one of the largest Hindu gatherings in the region. So it is second after this Amarnath Pilgrimage Center. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to see, and you have to especially focus on why this preservation of culture is important, art and tradition, because even in fundamental rights they says that it is your religious freedom. Clear? And so Saturday ground zero will come, so they will explain about one story, so it is not much relevant. So most of the articles are regarding NEET, so we are not going to focus, because already we discussed about what is the thing, what happened, everything in our earlier class. So here you can see one article regarding CIC, that is Central Information Commission. Next one is RTI. So in your ethics class and also in governance class, sir will be teaching this clearly about what is this RTI, so what is the use, so what is the relevance, so what are the advantages, everything. And I discussed about this Kher Bhavani temple. And in business page you got this article that is about WPI inflation. In today's class only sir told about this, right? That is nothing but wholesale price inflation. So wholesale price and consumer price, you know difference, right? So wholesale price means the bulk. For example, manufacturer will be selling his produce at a very bulk, and at that bulk price itself there is increasing of cost, and automatically if it reaches to the customer or retailer, again there is further increasing of price. Okay, so you have to know this why this WPI had been increased. So that's the thing that you have to focus. That's it. Yeah, consumer price and consumer is nothing but retailer. You as a person, you will be going to the nearby shop and you will be buying your toothpaste or ice cream or etc. Consumer price and retail price is same. Wholesale price is different. Okay, clear? So these are some important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. So if you have any doubts, so please post your doubts in the comment box so that I will be addressing your doubts. And one more thing here is we are also going to launch NCERT series, and as well as we have our online and offline GS foundation course. So please do join that courses, and I'm very happy that within 15 days of time, so there is a lots and lots of improvement in the students. So now they started learning lots and new things, and they're also in the stage that to identify which articles are relevant from our examination point of view. So that is giving immense happy to me. So I was very satisfied with my classes, and students were also satisfied with whatever the classes we are providing. So if you want to take that courses, so you can contact me on this number 8074 765513. And thank you so much for watching, and please do like and share this class to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy.